of LA, Valley Sports West, the heart of the fan.
It's showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Angels Live pregame show. Halos hosting the Chicago White Sox at the Big A. We got it for you here on Valley Sports West. Gorgeous day in SoCal, without a doubt. Bounce back, no other way to put it. This has to be a bounce back game. Crunch time, nearly halfway mark, 2 weeks to the break. Mike Moustakas, the Moose, getting loose tonight, making his Angels debut. And Reid Detmers, I mean, look at his last start here at home against the Dodgers. 7 scoreless was great, and he toes the rubber against Dylan Cease of the Chi Sox for a 4-game series. We got Mark Ubiza. We got Mark Langston. I'm Patrick O'Neill. I think Ken French says his best. Marky Mark here in the house. Let me start with Gooby. It was a tough one, right, Sunday, after a 25-1 beating. I'll ask you guys about what it was like to be on the call for that. State of the team, from a player's perspective, fan perspective, you're like, how do you lose that game? But what are the players feeling right now?
I think even you go back to that game, yesterday, and the feeling was, especially when you look at Gomber's ERA, you're going to win that game, you're going to score lots of runs, but anytime there's a pitcher on the mound, if he has something working that day and he had his changeup going, he spotted his fastball good enough, he had a decent breaking ball going, if he's on his game, it doesn't matter how hot you are as a hitter, he's got a chance of getting you out, and I think it's exactly what happened. But fast forward, after the game, though, the guys were okay. They knew they missed an opportunity to win a series that they felt they should have been able to win. And now you got the Chicago White Sox with 4 really good pitchers going against you. So they cleared the mind right away. That's the beauty of baseball. You can clear the mind very, very fast.
Easier for you. Easier said than done. They've lost 4 of 5, though, and they're supposed to win that game after scoring 25 runs.
Yeah, they are. But that, as Scooby just talked about, it's different in the locker room than it is on the outside. When you look at it from the outside, certainly you look at it and go, wow, they should have won that series. Should at least split with the Dodgers. They got great pitching in that series against the Dodgers. Should have won something there. They didn't. But it's different in that locker room. Those guys could, as you just talked about, they shed that so fast, and they're focused on this series and this game here tonight, obviously with Dylan Cease on the mound. Gooby talked about it. He was finished second in the Cy Young. So you have got to turn the page, and that's the beautiful thing about baseball. 162-game season, you have got to be able to shed the negative stuff as fast as you can, and we'll see that tonight here with the Angels going in this 4-game series against the White Sox.
You're not going to give up, right? Certainly, because you're still in this. It's only game 80. All right, so I'm glad you guys said that. Again, you always make me feel a lot better. But here's the schedule going into the All-Star break, right? White Sox, D-backs are good, Padres and the Dodgers. Again, Gooby, your thoughts? It's one game at a time, and tonight is, of course, the biggest.
It is the biggest game of the year. But when you look at this series is all coming up, every one of those teams can swing the bat. They also have great pitching. I mean, you look at Arizona after this 4-game set, they have 2 guys with 9 wins going against the Angels in that weekend. San Diego, we know how well they swing the bat and pitch. Then you got to face the Dodgers again. So it's all about, again, go back to that one game tonight. You got Reid Detmers on the mound here today. You just got to pitch well and give yourself a chance to score enough runs against Dylan Cease, which will not be easy. You got to make sure you get one of those sliders that gets over the strike zone and you don't miss it.
All right, Langer, AL West standings, your thoughts? Halos down to 3rd now. They're 6 back, but only 1 back in that wild card.
Yeah, certainly there's some games that the Angels had in their back pocket that didn't go their direction. You cannot look at that. You have got to look forward and go, you just saw the schedule. You don't have enough time to think about what happened yesterday. You have really got to be focused on what's going on here today, just from the standpoint of the schedule that's presented in front of you. Yes, you have an underachieving White Sox team you're playing. You're going to have an underachieving Padre team, but it's good you just talked about. Those teams are really loaded, and those teams can play really solid baseball. So with that being said, Angels have got to start getting it rolling here tonight. It always starts about starting pitching. Reid Detmers on the mound. You feel good about that.
All right, we'll catch up on Detmers coming up, but let me ask you about Mike Moustakas. So you're there. You're in Colorado when the trade happens, right after acquiring Escobar. Perry Manassi not messing around.
The feeling in that dugout and in the locker room, on the bus, on the plane, was like, we got a couple dudes. Guys that have been to the postseason, guys that everyone likes. I mean, Escobar, as soon as he walked into the dugout, everyone's like, oh, man, this guy is incredible. And he felt like he was there for 20 years. Same thing with Moose yesterday, going into that clubhouse, in the dugout, on the plane, and you know what he's done over the last 21 games. 333 with a couple home runs, a couple doubles, an OPS of 933. I asked Bud Black about him on Friday. This is before I thought the deal was even a possibility. He said he looks in great shape, his hips are good, his hands are quick, and he crushes breaking balls. Well, he's facing somebody who throws a great breaking ball today, so this should be a good matchup.
Yeah, well, we're going to take a look at his first career home run was here at the Big A, Chatsworth alum, right?
Sure.
So he's playing for his hometown club. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's always cool when you get a chance to play for your hometown. It's good we just talked about the Angels acquired two guys. With Gio Urshela going down, they had to fill that gap, and they certainly did it with Escobar and Mike Moustakas. Moustakas, a three-time All-Star. You just have to go back to 2019, had 35 home runs. So this is a guy that can do a lot for the Angels. He's a former world champion. So with that being said, they bring in some guys, some veteran leadership obviously with Gio Urshela. That's a big loss with that. So you got to feel it. You feel like Perry Manassian did with those two guys.
By the way, he has 20 career home runs against the White Sox. Just saying.
Okay,
Just
all
saying.
right.
Just saying.
How about blackjack? Let's make it 21 here tonight. Eduardo Escobar, he's not here tonight, by the way. He's going to be in Florida. Congratulations, because he's going to crush that U.S. citizenship test, and he'll be back maybe tomorrow, but certainly by Wednesday. So that's certainly a big deal. But what does he mean to the team? I mean, what a series in those two games he put up.
He scored 5 runs in 2 games. 5 runs. He had 4 hits, and he even hit with that triple last night in the 9th inning. That was a great pitch, and he went down and got it. Everywhere he's gone, he's hit the baseball, and he can play so many different positions. He's played all 9 positions on a baseball team in a major league game, so he can play a number of different positions for you. He's going to play him solid enough, batting right, batting left. And I think the big thing everyone kept saying is they can't wait to be his teammate. And he's going to be clutch. He's going to be in those moments where he can slow the game down. Everyone can watch and see what he's trying to do at the plate to be able to do some damage.
Yeah, the All-Star Francisco Lindor said he's probably his favorite teammate he's ever played with. That's pretty high endorsement. So the Angels know they're going to get a quality clubhouse guy, but then the talent on the field speaks for itself. I've liked this guy for a long, long time. He's put up big numbers for a long time. So with that being said, the Angels now have an opportunity to get a switch hitter that is versatile. And that's what both these two guys are. Moustakas and Escobar are versatile. They can play anywhere in this Angels infield. And certainly being a switch hitter as Escobar is, that bodes well for Phil Nevin to be able to make some changes late in the game if he has to, knowing he has a guy with pop from both sides of the plate.
It's an instantaneous infusion of energy and positivity with Eduardo Escobar. I love this guy, and hopefully he's going to pay huge dividends. All right. You two guys called history on Saturday. 25-1, 23-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th. I mean, this stuff has just never happened before. So, Gooby, you're there. You're watching this happen. What are you thinking? What did it feel like for you?
You know, even after the game, I couldn't get to sleep because I'm trying to put it into perspective. They scored 25 runs, 28 hits they had, and they had back-to-back home runs on 3 pitches, all 3 different pitches, a fastball, cutter, changeup. This was all... The Rockies made no errors in that game, and they didn't have a position player come in there, so these were all legit hits and runs against major league pitching staff. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen anything like that before, where every guy was up there hitting every single pitch hard. Everybody in that lineup. The one guy who had the toughest game was Shohei Ohtani. And you expect him to be 7 for 7 in that game. But I'll tell you, 2 guys in your lineup, and 5 times in the history of the game, went 5 for 5. And they also both reached base on a walk and a hit by pitch. So it was unreal to see that in person. And it's to watch and talk to those guys after the game. They were like going, I can't believe that. So seeing that history was incredible.
Well, I think, Ruby, we've been on both sides of that. We've been on the mound where we can't stop the bleeding, and we've sat in the dugout and celebrated with your teammates when they're having these kind of rallies. Not quite as big as this one here. But with that being said, I think the most impressive thing that I thought I saw was 10 2-out runs. They scored 10 runs with 2 outs. You could add a jam shot that gets caught or ground ball that's an out. No, 10 2-out runs in that inning, that 13-run 3rd inning. So that, to me, was the most impressive thing that I saw about that whole rally that they had rolling.
And you know what? Know who got it all started with a runner in scoring position? David Fletcher. David Fletcher.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, he's a .333 career hitter with runners in scoring position, hitting about 625.
You know, though, you guys were thinking, please don't. You don't want anybody getting thrown at when it's 23-0. You don't want anybody getting hurt, and luckily none of that happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of respect. There was there was no messing around for the Angels. Obviously, on the other side of that dugout
is Bud
Black in there.
Yeah.
The respect he has for Bud Black. But the way that, the fans, not one fan left.
Insane.
And not one fan booed, which I'm surprised. And there was a giveaway, some blankets. I'm thinking there was no blankets thrown on the field, too. And it was incredible the way the fans were. I think they were waiting for somebody else to do something magical.
They're just like, you know what, the Nuggets just won the championship. The Avs won it the year before. They're fine. They could take a whooping 25-1, but they won the series. That's Bud Black got his team ready to go the next day. Find a way to bounce back. Led the show with that. Has to happen, and it could start with Reid Detmers. You need him, right? Has he found his groove? These guys know something about it. Will tell us. We got to get you out there to vote for Mike Trout. Phase 2 on, and Erica Weston joins us. We'll hear from Phil Nevin. Stay there.
Welcome into the Raleigh Studios.
The next baseball has arrived.
And I am here for it.
Keep an eye on the new faces of baseball on Off Base, the modern baseball show for the modern baseball fan.
It's all about things you haven't seen before.
Only on MLB Network. If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball's show of record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Love it. I'm hanging out. Perfect. Yeah. You two are gamers, and you definitely are pizza lovers.
Oh, love it.
You've seen Langer just crushing entire boxes on the road, right?
A big slice of a pizza Dolos, right? I can't wait to have some of that.
Oh, it's Mark Langston and Mark Guba's. I'm going to defer to the lefty here, if that's okay, Gooby, because they're quirky and sensitive. Reid Detmers. Yeah, my dad's a lefty. Reid Detmers. Well, he pitched beautifully last game. What do you think about him and where he's at right now?
His last 3 starts, we really have started to see him put the whole package together. You don't ever doubt the stuff of Reid Detmers. He's always had the power stuff and this stuff to dominate guys. Now it's fine-tuning that stuff. And we saw it early in the year. The velocity was up on both his fastball and his slider. Looks like that has come backwards a little bit. More tilt now to his slider his last 3 starts. Get some swing and miss. He can pitch upstairs all day long with anybody. To me, the curveball has been a big play for him also his last 3 starts. Has introduced that. He's not throwing a changeup, so he's going to use that curveball as his changeup and change planes with that. But the ability to pitch up and then show the curveball up and that slider, once he establishes anything on that inside part of the plate with this fastball, that slider is tough to lay off that.
Gooby, take us through the arsenal. What do you expect for him to throw against these White Sox?
I mean, take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. That 4-seam fastball, like Langer was saying, he's starting to use that a little bit more. His slider usage is down a little bit, but it's getting better because he's not overthrown it. His curveball has been outstanding. That break he's had, a 12-6 break, his off-speed pitch, just an occasional changeup. I love the fact that he's riding his fastball upstairs in that same plane. You notice, Langer, that same plane with your fastball up, then the curveball starts there and then drops out, but he's not overthrowing his slider anymore. When he was at 93 with his slider, it was almost like a cut fastball. You're not going to get swing and misses. You're not going to get chases. You're going to get contact on a cutter. So he's going back to his normal slider as far as 86 to 89, and it's been great with great depth.
Yeah, the depth of the slider the last 3 starts to me has been the difference. That's where you're starting to see the swings and misses. Certainly against that Dodger lineup, you know, this was a big moment for Reid Detmers. It's a playoff type atmosphere when you have 44,000 or 45,000 in the ballpark, and it was just a raucous crowd. That's the pressure that you're going to feel in the postseason. How are you going to respond to that? Well, 7 shutout innings with just 2 hits allowed. Pretty darn good for Reid Detmers.
I hope we get a chance to see him in front of a packed house in a playoff-type atmosphere, and you have a feeling that Reid Detmers will be able to handle that just fine. We want to remind everybody at home, opportunity to vote for the 3-time MVP, Mike Trout. It's phase 2, and it's important, you know, and Langer knows this very well, because you were telling me earlier, hey, Patrick, you got to vote. It's phase 2. We want to make sure, we know, and I'm on Langer, you're on top of this, but the fans need to be on it too, right?
Absolutely. You don't realize that. You think, okay, I voted once, you got Trout already to the next phase.
Yeah.
But now the next phase is everything that you did before has disappeared.
Do it again. Yeah.
So you got to vote again to get Trout in there to start the All-Star game. It's important because all those votes have gone sideways.
Yes.
Now it's a brand new, fresh start.
That's right.
You've got to get out there and vote. Make sure Trout is the center fielder in the All-Star game coming up in a couple of weeks. With Shohei already being announced, he's the designated hitter. So we need Trout out there in center field.
So can you add to that?
The All-Star game is a showcase of the very best players in the game, and Mike Trout is the best in the game. No matter what the scenario, by the way, he's got real good numbers against the White Sox. He's going to get it going. Watch him tonight. 19 career home runs against the White Sox. Also, remember that home run he hit in Chicago just that last time on the road there in Chicago. That ball, they did say it was like, what, 459?
No.
No. I gave up a home run to Frank Thomas was 475, and I think that might have been a little bit further.
You sense that he's on time for what you've seen in person of late?
I watched him earlier today, batting practice. He was hitting off the break-a-ball machine. Wow.
Okay.
So expect some wows today.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. When he hits it out, can I please get a wow? Are you going to confirm us?
Wow.
Yeah, sitting right about wow. We'll take a break. Come back. And Gooby, hey, thanks. I guess that's it for you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Go on up there.
I'm glad we all look alike here with us.
I know. Almost. Yeah. Just 3 different shades of gray. And brown. You're going to go up there and call the game with Wayne?
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
Oh, my goodness! What a play!
Every game.
Go!
Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
Relive today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action, we've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered. Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
Relive today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network.
Pregame show, Halos, White Sox kicking off a 4-game homestand against Chicago, looking to get right. Halos have Lost 4 or 5, but they won that huge game in the middle there, 25-1. Here with Mark Langston, Erica Weston joins us right now. Darn near the halfway point here, Erica. Do we have a state of the team right now?
Sure are. Hard to believe, Patrick, that tomorrow will be the official halfway point of the season, game number 80 tonight. And certainly last week was a disappointing week for the Halos. Nobody will tell you that more than the team themselves, especially Phil Nevin. But they like where they are right now. They are, just outside of a playoff spot for the time being, so they're still in the hunt. The moves being made by the front office with Perry Manassian points to the fact that they are going to be aggressive when it comes to hopefully competing for a postseason spot as we get further down the stretch. But certainly room for improvement with where they sit right now, 5 games over 500. They like, some improvements, some things that they've seen from the start of the season. I asked Phil Nevin about the state of his team as we head into the halfway point. Here's what he had to say earlier today.
All in all, I think we've played well. There's still a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of things we need to get better at if we want to get to where we do want to be and where we think we're going to be. But overall, certainly the consistency's been there, and more for me is the attitude and how we've gone about it. I love the way this room is shaped up, and it's a group you just want to win with.
What areas do you think specifically have improved to this point?
Well, the defense. I mean, that's easy to point to several games early in the season where we've, played a lot less than clean baseball, if you will. That's cost us some games, and I think that a lot of that has been cleaned up, through work, getting better, and then people in the right positions. So, and the more you play well, the more you play together, the more. It flows, and the camaraderie is better, things like that. But, but most of all, for me, the defense.
The tone over the weekend with the acquisitions of Mike Moustakas and Eduardo Escobar are that you're getting 2 quality baseball players, but even better humans. The chemistry in the clubhouse is something a lot of the guys have been talking about. Patrick, 2 quick injury updates to send over to you. Ben Joyce threw a baseball for the first time today, just lightly, playing catch inside before they start to build up that arm and hopefully look towards a return to baseball. Zach Neto was back to working out this weekend. No baseball activity yet. Circling Friday to hopefully get out on the baseball field and throw the ball around. So each guy inching closer and closer to a return, which is good news. They won't be out long term as the Angels try to make a push here.
Okay, Erica, thanks a lot. Great job as usual. Back here with Mark Langston. Langer, when you're in contention, you're a player, you're at the halfway point. Right. It makes a big difference showing up to the yard, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. And certainly with the moves that the Angels made recently, I think that's a boost of energy also. David Fletcher's back. That's a big boost. David Fletcher means so much to this ball club, so it's nice to see all these pieces hit right here, right at the end of the first half, because everything's going to boil into the second half. Certainly the Angels have positioned themselves, I think, very well to get things done. Yes, you would like to be a little better as far as the win-loss record's concerned, and certainly the Angels had opportunities to do that, but you can't do anything about it now, so you got to start tonight. And I like where the Angels have set up. Phil Nevin's talked about it. Everything is starting to really get the guys in the right spots. You talked about Ben Joyce. Can't wait to see him back out on the mound as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, they've lost some tough ones, but they're still right in it, a game out. Let's get this one here tonight against Dylan Cease with Reid Detmers on the bump. Langer, I know you're going to go up and call a game on the radio. Thanks so very much, pal.
Always fun sitting with you.
Great stuff. We'll see you for Angels Live post-game. Just saw Mike Moustakas walk past us. Certainly looks good in that Angels uniform. Halos starting lineups next.
It's the Modern Baseball Show for the modern baseball fan. Off Base, with interviews and coverage of baseball's hottest stars.
I've done a couple interviews in my life. This probably is the most fun I've ever been a part of.
Only on MLB Network. The next generation of baseball has arrived.
And I am here for it.
Keep an eye on the new faces of baseball on Off Base, the Modern Baseball Show for the modern baseball fan.
It's all about things you haven't seen before.
Only on MLB Network. Big leaguers from 17 different countries come out to play during MLB Network's International Week. Our national pastime unites nations, cultures, and hearts alike, filled with players who bring dedication and diversity to the diamond. MLB Network celebrates this success with a week filled with the biggest moments, in-depth interviews, and unparalleled insight from TV's best baseball analysts. It's baseball without borders on International Week, all week on MLB Network.
welcome back, everybody. Want to remind you that all season long, the day after the Angels win at home, you fans can redeem free medium fries with a $1 minimum purchase at participating SoCal McDonald's. Download and register on the McDonald's app. Those kids never age, I swear. I want to remind everybody once again that you need to vote for Mike Trout because phase 2, it starts from scratch. So all the votes, oh, that's just so cool right there. Oh, look at that. What a moment. Not alone. Not only is he 3-time MVP and really the face of baseball. Vote for Mike Trout. Phase 2 at MLB.com/all-star. Okay, so how about the Halos starting lineup? That's an absolute keeper right there. Okay, so Moniak, and there's Mike, and then Shohei, followed by Drury. Mike Moustakas at first, and he's making his Angels debut here tonight. Taylor Ward, Matt Thaiss, Luis Rengifo, and Fletch is back here at home. David Fletcher playing shortstop and hitting ninth for your Halos. And the Angels trying to bounce back after a tough series loss in Colorado against the White Sox here tonight. And Dylan Cease is on the bump. But this is who Reid Detmers is going to be facing for Chicago, a team that really has struggled offensively. Why have they struggled? Well, they don't get on base. They're dead last in on-base percentage and 24th in runs per game. But, hey, they're professionals. Go out there and battle. But Dylan Cease, he just never makes it easy. Wyatt Earp right there. 3-3 record, a 4.22 ERA, but look at his ERA last season, and also his numbers in June, a 2.38 ERA, so he is absolutely getting right. Just a great pitching matchup with Dylan Cease and Reid Detmers, and a great crowd here at the Big A, and we have it for you, so sit back, relax, get all the cool, refreshing beverages and the food spread ready, because Wayne Randazzo, Mark Gubaza, and Erica Weston, they have the call for you right here on Valley Sports. Of course, we'll see you afterwards for Angels Live postgame. Enjoy this one. Let's go Halos.
Morongo is made for you. Tonight, you meet that special somebody at Cielo.
If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball's show of record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Oh, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Angels of LA, Valley Sports West, the heart of the fan.
It really is a lovely time of year, summertime in Southern California. Tonight's game brought to you by Easton & Easton. Game 1 of a 4-game series between the Los Angeles Angels and the Chicago White Sox. Alongside Mark Gubas, I'm Wayne Randazzo, and Gooby, as the Angels return home, well, there's some moose tracks all of a sudden here in Southern California.
Well, Wayne, he's always wanted to put on that Angel uniform. There was a couple times before where you thought that may happen, but it's great to have him part of the Angels right now. 3-time All-Star. He's playing first base here tonight. Moose, I mean, when you look what he's done really his last 21 games, he's really hit the ball exceptional. The hands are quick. He's hit breaking balls exceptional. 333 batting average, 933 OPS with a couple home runs, couple doubles, 7 RBIs. He has 20 career home runs against the White Sox, and he's facing a pitcher today, Wayne, with a very good breaking ball in Dylan Cease, and he's hit the breaking ball exceptionally well so far.
We'll see the debut from Mike Moustakas at first base wearing an Angels uniform tonight in the place where he made his major league debut back in 2011. He'll support Reid Detmers tonight. Detmers coming off a terrific outing his last time against the Dodgers with 7 scoreless innings. Detmers has been good in the month of June. He'll face Dylan Cease tonight. We'll have more on that pitching matchup in just a moment.
MLB Tonight has all the bases covered, with live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
Every night on MLB Network.
Baseball's biggest moments are live on MLB Big Inning. MLB.TV's nightly show takes you from game to game for all the grand slams, no-hitters, walk-offs, and more as they happen.
Wow, he can do it all!
Don't miss the ultimate baseball highlight reel.
This is some kind of awesome.
After your game ends, the action's just heating up on MLB Big Inning. Every night on MLB.TV.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party. See the night's biggest moments. What? The best interviews.
We all love DJ Dan.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
For the opener of this 4-game series, Dylan Cease pitched against the Angels last year and had 11 strikeouts in a game, and a Cy Young runner-up season a year ago, and he'll face Reid Detmers tonight. He's been excellent lately, just 2 runs allowed over his last 3 starts. Game 1, the Angels and the White Sox next.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
Welcome
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleepwithauraring.com.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
Back at Angels Stadium, the Angels trying to take advantage of the White Sox the way they did in late May at guaranteed rate field, the way they have for the last several years here at Angels Stadium. Shohei Ohtani had 3 home runs in that series as the Angels took care of business on Chicago's south side. Trout and Ohtani in a game where Shohei had 2 home runs. That last one long and loud, as a lot of them have been off the bats of the Angels, but they really stormed their way through the White Sox in that series in Chicago. And now Shohei Ohtani has a new teammate to befriend, Mike Moustakas, the newest Angel. He makes his team debut tonight. He's hanging out with Shohei already.
Well, you're always going to smile anytime you see Shohei Ohtani in the same dugout as you as a player. It's going to be a lot of fun to see the energy for Moustakas here today at first base.
He makes his way to first base as Reid Detmers makes his way to the mound, leading the team onto the field tonight.
And Reid Detmers, you talked about it, Wayne, how great he has been over his last 3 starts. It's this dominant self that we saw at the end of the season last year. Remember, he had a no-hitter last year, an immaculate inning as well. 1-5 this year, 4.02. My go-tos for Reid Detmers to continue this stretch he is on and make that 4 games in a row where he's throwing the ball well. Pound the corners with his fastball. He's getting a lot of strikeouts of late with his 4-seam fastball and then various speeds with his slider. We're going to show that as the game progresses, how he can throw at 86 to 89, even 90 miles an hour. They're varying speeds has made that slider better again.
Detmers has had a very good month of June. The White Sox have not hit a whole lot. We take a look at what their lineup looks like via weighted on base average, giving a weight to each way that you can reach base between walks, doubles, home runs, each being measured more the more you do with your at bat. And in this instance, the White Sox hoping Tim Anderson does a lot more than he has. He is homerless in his last 285 at bats. Luis Robert, though, has carried the White Sox offense. Robert bats third against
and
Reid Detmers tonight.
For the Angels are Easton defense. Mike Moustakas making his start at first base this season. 1,000 fielding percentage in his career. .998 with 39 double plays at first base. You have Drury at second, Fletch at short, Rengifo at third, Thice behind the plate, Ward, Trout, and Mickey Moniak out in a right field.
So the Angels back home. They will spend a lot of time here. This is the first of a 21-game stretch in Southern California. 16 of those games will be here at Angel Stadium. This is a time where the Angels can beef up their home record and get cooking a little bit here between now and really the end of July. Once it gets really close to the trade deadline, that's the next time the Angels leave the area, as Andrew Benintendi starts the night against Reid Detmers. We are underway as Benintendi fouls one off.
Boy, Wayne, they have a lot of batters in this lineup. They are very, very aggressive on the first pitch. Benintendi's always been one of those guys, but every guy in this lineup pretty much is up there hacking first pitch.
Now they're hacking every pitch. This team doesn't walk hardly at all. They have the fewest walks in the major leagues in terms of percentage. They have walked just 6.3% of the time this season. Every other team in the major leagues is over 7%, except for Pedro Grifol's Chicago White Sox.
You see their on base percentage as a team at 292.
It's a lot of outs. 2 balls, 1 strike on Benintendi. Batting leadoff, a flip-flop in the White Sox lineup because Benintendi has gotten on base a lot more than Tim Anderson has. Anderson had typically hit leadoff. Now he's batting second. This one might stay in play for Rengifo over near the Angels dugout, and he makes the catch. Luis Rengifo reaching over the Angels dugout railing. Makes a great grab to start the ninth.
Boy, he went way into the dugout to make that play. What a play by Rengifo. Thought it might have a chance staying in as it got closer to the dugout. Reaches way in there. Makes the play.
Just touched the bill of the cap of Matt Biancuso in the dugout.
Oh, that's Geddy Lee.
Oh, I didn't recognize it. Yes, that is Geddy Lee. So 1 out. Here's Anderson. You know, it didn't help as I was just getting started here that you call everybody by a nickname, and I don't know their actual name. I just know that, oh, there's Cosmo Kramer. I don't know who that really is, though. Here's Tim Anderson fouling one off.
I mean, look how far he's reaching in, getting out of the way to allow him to make the play, and Shohei just looking on and going, oh, yes.
There's Cosmo Kramer getting out of the way.
There he is.
2 balls and a strike on Anderson.
Oh, Wade, you got me laughing already, man.
Well, Tim Anderson would like something to laugh about. He hasn't really had much to smile about the way that he's hit. You really have to question if Anderson's healthy because this is a dynamic hitter. He has won a batting title. He was hitting .358 about a year ago at this time, and since then he's barely hit at all. That's when the injuries started to pile up. His bat has just not come back.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in the game. I mean, he's got an outstanding arm at shortstop. He runs very well. He hits fastballs better than anybody in the game. That lower half of the body, the knee, has been an issue. He's back healthy, or at least as good as he's going to be, but it's not quite the same as far as his hands right now, using that lower half of his body. That's why a slider down and in could be really, really effective.
Fastball instead strikes out Tim Anderson. Detmers climbs the ladder and gets his first strikeout tonight.
That's his 18th strikeout now on his 4-seam fastball. He's really feeling better about challenging hitters upstairs with that. But he's also able to throw that 95, 96 mile-an-hour fastball on the lower quadrant to be able to set that chase upstairs.
So 2 up, 2 down, and now legitimately dangerous bat in the White Sox order. It's Luis Robert. And you look at Benintendi has struggled. Anderson's really struggled. So a lot of home runs for Robert, but very few RBIs in comparison. 21 homers, just 42 knocked in. The table is not often set for Robert.
One thing you've got to try to do against him is make your pitch as far as getting its swing out of the zone, because anything in zone lately he's hit a long, long way.
Hit a couple of home runs the other day against the Boston Red Sox. Fouls this one off, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Robert. He should be the White Sox All-Star representative. He is second in the American League in home runs, only behind Shohei.
He's crushed fastballs, 321 slugging. It's 657, but it's struggled at 214 versus breaking balls.
Breaking ball there that he fouled off. He's been the most prolific hitter in the majors this year against 4-seam fastballs, leading the major leagues in slugging in that category. Reid Detmers put away Tim Anderson, now trying to do so to Robert. Foul. That was the hard slider down and in.
I think you can get away with it, that hard slider, because he threw a curveball to 1-4. So now you could try that slider. It's about 87 to 88 range.
Been throwing that a lot more lately. Now 1-2. It's a fastball that Robert hammers way back to left. Taylor Ward at the wall, and it's gone. And we just talked about how Luis Robert hits fastballs. Detmers threw one there and paid for it.
Went at 401 feet at exit velocity of 103.8 miles per hour. And a fastball, inner half and up, but he's hitting fastballs. We showed and talked about the numbers. Didn't get it quite in off the plate. And that's how strong he is now. It's 22nd home run. A dynamic all-around player himself. Boy, that had some sound to it, too.
Hit it hard, hit it far enough. Luis Roberts giving the White Sox a 1-0 lead with a 2-out home run here in the first against Reid Detmers. And a fastball that he tried to sneak by Robert. Now it's Jimenez with a fly ball hit well to right center field. Back for it is Moniak. He has room on the track and makes the catch to end a first inning that the White Sox grab the lead in.
To get your best night's sleep, you need to sleep in something extraordinary. Woven with a silky softness unlike any other. From organic threads that are slow spun and finished in flame. Made from an ingredient so rare, less than 1% of the world's cotton meets our quality. It's the most extraordinary fabric ever made. Only from Boll & Branch.
They said optical shops weren't very inviting, so we, Warby Parker, created ones that were. They said prescription eyewear was too expensive, so we offered more affordable glasses, contacts, and eye exams. They said opticians weren't always friendly, so we hired only the friendliest and the most knowledgeable. And finally, they said the whole experience was just kind of unpleasant, so we set out to change that too. Visit a Warby Parker store and see for yourself.
Chevy weighted on base average, league average is .320, and you can see at the top of the order, really throughout the Angels lineup, many that are above that, including Mickey Moniak, who had a great series in Colorado. Moniak continues to swing the bat well. Trout's batting second tonight and Shohei third as the Angels take their cracks against Dylan Cease.
And Cease got a power fastball himself, 93, 98, but a very, very good swing and miss slider, curveball, occasional changeup.
Cease was dominant last year, led the American League. As Moniak drills one into right field, a first pitch base hit for Mickey Moniak.
And my go-to is kind of almost right on cue there. Good swing there, aggressive swing against Cease by Mickey Moniak. Just square up the fastball early. Well, that's squaring up a fastball early for an early base hit. And keep his slider in the zone. He will give up some home runs on occasion versus slider, 5 of them. You got to keep that in the zone because he has 55 strikeouts with that pitch when he gets hitters a swing out of the zone against it.
It was the best pitch in baseball last year in terms of run value by StatCast, minus 36 runs against Dylan Cease's slider. Fastball missing to Mike Trout. It was the best pitch in all the major leagues. It hasn't been as good this year, but still his best pitch. And Cease tends to rack up lots of strikeouts with it.
It'll be really interesting how many sliders he gets close to the zone against Trout, because earlier today Mike Trout was hitting off the machine today, throwing a lot of hard sliders, and he was hitting baseballs as far as I've ever seen baseballs hit over the dugout. I mean, over both bullpens into the stands today.
Couple of homers for Trout at Coors Field. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire tonight, known as a pitcher's umpire, will call a lot of strikes. That slider just missing, and now Cease behind Trout 3-1. You've got Ohtani on deck. already a man on base, so perhaps Mike can gear up for a fastball here.
You would think you would get one right here. He's been sticking with the slider. Even that one pitch was called a strike was a borderline pitch.
Fastball runs and hits the inside corner, at least in Bill Miller's eyes. Now it's a full count.
I don't think that ball hit the inside corner. So 2 pitches that went against Trout here. Very good eye that Trout has. Imagine you might see that slider now.
And the fastball over the outside corner is struck out by Trout. As 2 of those pitches in that at bat did not look like strikes. The third one is. Now with 1 out, Shohei Ohtani will be the batter. Well, Luis Robert, second in the American League in home runs behind Shohei. And Robert with a big back crack in the top of the first gave the White Sox the lead. Well, Shohei's no stranger to loud sounds off the bat. 25 home runs this year. First pitch swinging here, just fouled down the line. That was Shohei in April of 2021 off of Dylan Cease here at Angel Stadium.
That went 450 feet, as I recall, about 115 miles per hour exit velocity through a 101 mile an hour pitch in the top of the first.
Well, they've all sounded like that lately for Shohei. And that scene that he put on in Texas, hitting those opposite field home runs, certainly seemed to enjoy hitting at Coors Field. The average at 297. That's 7th in the American League. Home runs, he is the major league leader in that category. Now 61 RBIs. Cease punches him out with a fastball at the top of the zone. After the leadoff base hit by Moniak, Dylan Cease has struck out Trout and Ohtani.
Yeah, you mentioned Bill Miller. He likes to call strikes, and this was probably in the upper part of the strike zone. But a couple pitches he called against Trout, so you better be ready as a hitter. That just touches it at 96. That's his spot for his 4-seam fastball.
Really, in terms of Bill Miller's strike zone, it's well known. It's wide. Brandon Drury bats. Couldn't hold up on the slider. Strike 1 to Drury, playing second base tonight. It's been a good year for Drury, a very good month of June. If he keeps this inning alive, we'll see the first Angels at bat for Mike Moustakas.
He's had some pretty good memorable hits here in this ballpark as a visiting player, including his first major league home run, a big home run in the playoffs. Game 1 against the Angels in 2014.
Drury hits it hard to third, but fielded by Jake Berger, who slings it across. And a scoreless first for Dylan Cease.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Create amazing work with Fiverr. All you need is your team and a talented freelancer who will lend a hand and seamlessly join your team from just about anywhere. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
two new halos making his debut here at the home stadium in front of the home crowd. The other will have to wait a couple of days for a good reason, too. Eduardo Escobar not with the team tonight. He's on the restricted list for very good reason because he went back to Florida today to become a U.S. citizen. In fact, he'll be taking his U.S. citizenship test tomorrow morning. He took a flight early this morning from Southern California. It's something he has been working so hard towards. He's actually been doing flashcards in the clubhouse with his former team before he was brought over to the Halos. Now, Phil Nevin said he was a little worried about joining the new team when he brought it up to him, but his eyes lit up, and he said some things are just bigger than baseball. He's certainly looking forward to this, so hopefully they'll get him back tomorrow, if not by Wednesday. But a really important thing for Eduardo Escobar, becoming a U.S. citizen.
Well, we won't congratulate him yet, but we certainly will when he comes back after he passes that test with flying colors. One of the great guys in this sport. It is outstanding to be around Eduardo Escobar again. I was with him the last season in New York. Everybody loves the guy.
Yeah. I mean, the minute he walked into the dugout, I mean, everybody was talking to him as if he had been a teammate of theirs for 20 years. That good of a guy. This is a great presence in the clubhouse. And also a very good hitter. Had 4 hits and scored 5 runs in the 2 games.
Well, the team that Escobar was brought to the big leagues with is the Angels' opponent tonight, the White Sox. As Jake Berger swings through that slider, Escobar was a young player in Venezuela and just playing in a league down there with Ozzie Guillen's son, Oni. And when Ozzie Guillen spotted Escobar, basically changed Escobar's entire life. In fact, Ozzie was upset that Escobar was playing behind his son because he said, well, Eduardo's a way better player than Oni. He should be starting. So Ozzie Guillen made sure that Eduardo Escobar got a chance to get signed by the White Sox, and the rest was history for Escobar.
What a great player he is. What a great moment it's going to be for him tomorrow.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Jake Berger. I mean, Escobar might come in tomorrow dressed like Uncle Sam.
He might. Chance he'll be back for the game tomorrow.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch there. Detmers had Berger reaching on the curve.
His curveball is getting better and better. Just a 184 batting average, a whiff percentage of over 32% with his curveball. Especially when you throw a fastball earlier in that sequence at 94, and then you drop basically a 77-mile-an-hour curveball in that same plane. Just a great spot.
So 2 out, nobody on. Here's Clint Frazier getting a chance in right field for the White Sox. Frazier hasn't hit much since returning to the big leagues. Now 1 ball, 1 strike. Earlier in spring training, the White Sox, and even at the beginning of this season, were trying to get Oscar Colas going. Colas coming from Cuba. He had made the opening day roster, but he's been in AAA ever since. 2 balls and a strike on Frazier. He's hit okay at AAA, but not enough to come back. So it's Frazier getting another big league look. Catches the bottom of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Frazier.
Pretty good backdoor slider.
Three and 2 coming. And Frazier lines one toward left center. Taylor Ward inches forward, makes the catch, and the inning is over.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network. Keep up with every team on MLB Network wherever you go. Just download the MLB app, click MLB Network, and sign in with your TV provider info. Then watch MLB Network all day, every day, your way.
Time for Hyundai Key for the game today, going Snoop Dogg, our buddy. Lay low, bring that fastball lower part of the strike zone, and also look lower part of the strike zone with that slider thrown by Dylan Cease here tonight.
Yeah, you hear that, Snoop? Bring us some munchie meals.
Yes.
Come hang out in the booth with us. Here's Mike Moustakas. And his first at bat with the Angels, taking ball one from Dylan Cease. Moustakas made his major league debut here at Angel Stadium in June of 2011. Got a base hit that night off Irvin Santana. The next night, he had his first major league home run. It was off Joel Pinheiro here at the Big A. And then, as Gooby mentioned, he was a villain in the 2014 American League Division Series. Well, you know, this could be a redemption story. Villains can become heroes.
Yes.
And Mike Moustakas, now 35 years old, can really turn things around as a member of the Angels and help this team in a run. There it is, the first major league homer, June 11th, 2011. Into the seats in right center field for Mike Moustakas. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes here.
And 20 career home runs for Moustakas versus the Chicago White Sox. Playing a lot of games within that division. 20 home runs career-wise against the White Sox for Moustakas.
The Twins, the only team he's homered against more. Chasing on 3-2. Moustakas strikes out on a high fastball.
If batters against Cease start going after that fastball upstairs, it's going to be a tough one because his fastball has more life up there. You can bring it down, you can have some success against it. 242 with 4 home runs versus his fastball, but when you go upstairs on that fastball and chase, it's tough to hit.
Third strikeout for Cease, who can be a little mercurial. He meditates every day. He's very analytical, very calculating. Tosses in a strike at the top of the zone to Taylor Ward. Well, these batters, you know, it's a good thing these teams swing a lot because they're going to have to tonight. Ball 1 strike. Cease really turned a corner years ago. Had a good year for the White Sox. Had the highest strikeout rate in the American League. And then last year was second in Cy Young voting, only behind Justin Verlander. Ground ball to third off the bat of Taylor Ward. Thrown out by Berger.
And take a look at the separation of speeds of Dylan Cease's pitches. Take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. His 4-seam fastball, we've already seen that already today. Averaging 95.5 miles per hour. Pretty good separation though with his slider. At 86, his knuckle curve though under 80 miles an hour. And same thing with his changeup. So there's a pretty good separation in his 2 secondary pitches, a changeup and curveballs compared to his fastball at 95. That's a tough pitch call there too.
There's been a lot of strikes that have been called early in this one that have had some extra space beyond the plate. Here's Matt Thaiss with 2 outs. Got to make sure. Yep, ball 1.
Yeah, that's a serious separation between 96 and 73 with his changeup.
Drafted by the Cubs, traded with Eloy Jimenez in the same deal for Jose Quintana. 2 balls, 1 strike on Theis. White Sox were rebuilding and they made a few trades. There's Matt Theis. It's a 1-hopper to second. It's fielded by Elvis Andrus. That ends the bottom of the second.
The next generation of baseball has arrived.
And I am here for it.
Keep an eye on the new faces of baseball on Off Base, the modern baseball show for the modern baseball fan.
It's all about things you haven't seen before.
Only on MLB Network.
See it.
He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it.
I can't wait for this game to start. He took a home run away.
Leave it.
That is as good as it gets.
The big plays.
The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you. He's done it again.
With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win.
MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
Now it's time for our Sage pitching decisions. Reid Detmers against Jake Berger. He knows he's an aggressive hitter first pitch. He throws a curveball out of the zone, then he came back with a slider down and in at 89. Fastball 94 miles an hour. He has him set up for that outer part of the plate after that slider down and in. Drops that curveball, perfect spot because he threw that fastball 94 just 2 pitches before that. Great job by Reid Detmers, set up a guy who's been swinging the bat well, especially early in counts.
Elvis Andrus leads off here in the top of the 3rd inning. Lines one towards center. Mike Trout right there to make the catch. Detmers has retired almost 1 batter. It was Robert who homered in the top of the 1st inning on a 2-out, 2-strike fastball. Sebi Zavala the batter now. Yasmani Grandal got a foul ball off the jaw yesterday, and he's day-to-day. So it's Zavala catching. Catches a lot anyway. Doesn't hit very much, though. As Detmers pumps in a strike. You can run into one every once in a while. Grandal, the better hitter of the two, but Zavala, the better catcher of the two, at least right now.
Good life on that fastball. Reid Detmers between 94 and 96 so far. Pretty consistent.
Swing and a miss. Zavala strikes out. That's 3 for Detmers. 1 in each inning so far. 2 up, 2 down here in the 3rd.
Using his fastball to get a punch out. Fastball to pitch before. Followed up with another fastball, anticipating maybe a slider. Got a fastball instead. So 2 strikeouts on fastballs, 1 on his curveball.
Brings up Benintendi, who fouled out his first time. Good catch by Rengifo over near the Angels dugout, playing 3rd base tonight. Certainly we'll see Eduardo Escobar at that position at some point in this series once he's officially a U.S. citizen, comes back from Florida. Benintendi loops one toward left center. Ward got a late start, comes in, makes the running catch. Another 1, 2, 3 inning for Detmers. He's retired 7 straight.
games, and coverage. All day, every day, your way. On MLB Network.
Got something to say about the game?
I want to hear that.
Don't just talk about it.
Get caught up so we can talk about it on the show.
Intentional talk about it.
I think this is when opportunity arises.
Join the conversation with Intentional Talk on MLB Network.
We're watching. We're watching.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered. Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network.
Solve the puzzle of the unicorn tomorrow against the White Sox. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Shohei Ohtani puzzle, courtesy of Yakult Probiotic Drink. Visit angels.com/promotions for details. That's like a Kabuto puzzle right there.
No, that's outstanding.
Were those moose antlers on there, or is that just the regular Kabuto? Can't be too sure with Mike Moustakas around here now. Luis Rengifo leads off here in the bottom of the third against Dylan Cease.
Get the offense back on track, and it's not an easy opponent to do so with Dylan Cease on the mound. Now throwing that slider a little bit more. He's been effective with his fastball. All 3 strikeouts with his heater today. Gets a majority of his strikeouts with his slider.
Rengifo fouls one off. Now you look at Rengifo as a switch hitting infielder. He's from Venezuela. I'm sure there is something to be learned there between Rengifo and Escobar. They're similarly built. They have the same types of skills, versatile infielders. There has to be something Luis Rengifo can gain from having Escobar here.
Yeah, just ask that question. What do you look for in certain pitchers? I mean, what do you think they're going to try to get me out with 2 strikes? What are they going to try to do to me with runners in scoring position? Because Escobar has been so good in both those things.
Rengifo wipes out there on the slider from Cease. 4 strikeouts for Dylan Cease already tonight. Had an 11 strikeout game against the Angels last year. So we take a look at some of the pitchers that have done well against the Angels in games like that. 11 strikeouts, no walks, no earned runs in at least 7 innings. Cease, Chris Sale on that list, and Nolan Ryan with the Texas Rangers. Sometimes you see those numbers that Nolan Ryan had against the Angels as a Ranger, and you wonder if he was just sitting there stewing around for 7 or 8 years waiting for a chance to come back and do it.
Knowing the way he competed. I still feel this, by the way, this should be a pretty good matchup here. You know, high fastball. There's one of the all-time great high fastball throwers in Nolan Ryan, but also he had a great curveball and eventually developed an outstanding changeup, which he used quite a bit in that game. When he was with the Rangers, his changeup was really good.
2 balls and a strike on David Fletcher. His first at bat back at Angel Stadium since getting recalled. It's to right center field. That's no man's land because Robert's there. One of the best outfielders in the game right now. Robert handles that as Fletcher flies out.
So interesting to see what Cease does here. First pitch, Moniak hit a first pitch fastball, lined it for a base hit to right.
It's the only Angels hit so far. Cease has retired 8 in a row since then, including strikeouts of Trout and Ohtani. There's a strike to Moniak. Cease has really had trouble in the middle innings this year. The deeper he goes into a game.
Yeah, especially he's given up a lot of runs and home runs in the 3rd inning, but so far in the 3rd inning he's been pretty good.
You look at Cease's numbers overall this season. He has a 5.79 ERA from the 4th inning on. So really getting into the middle to later innings. Had been a struggle for Cease. Another thing, he tends to throws a lot of pitches. He hasn't yet tonight. He's averaged about 18 pitches per inning this year, which is among the most in the major leagues. It's why his outings usually involve a lot of pitches, but not many innings.
Well, you see, you don't have a ton of decisions. He's 3-3 this year.
He's averaged 5 1/3 innings per start, but yet he's averaged 97 pitches per outing. So usually gains on him. Moniak reaches out and hits a ground ball that is bobbled for a moment by Andrews, but time to throw out Moniak and end the third.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch, late nights every morning, only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Reid Detmers. Take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud on the season. At 42% four-seamer, 38% slider, 17 on his curve, and just 3% on his changeup. The interesting thing so far tonight, though, 62% four-seamers, had 19% curveball, and his slider percentage down considerably, but his four-seam fastball has been good. There's a slider there for a strike. Maybe saving that slider when he needs it as the game progresses to get that swing and miss and a big strikeout in a big moment.
Tim Anderson leads off the fourth. A couple of breaking balls to start this inning. Not a great hitting fastball team, though. We talked about Robert, who does crush fastballs. He has the only hit for the White Sox, a home run. The rest of the guys, not as much. One ball, two strikes on Anderson, who has just 11 RBIs over his last 93 games dating back to last season. All 11 have come this year. It's a soft bouncing ball. It's handled by Brandon Drury. And there's one away in the fourth inning. Well, there's Luis Robert with a home run. He'll bat here. Reid Detmers and his pitch selection, something we've seen change over the last few starts. For more on that, here's Erica.
Yeah, it goes back to his starting a couple outings ago against the Rangers when he talked about just having a better feel for those pitches, specifically the slider. He said the shape is where he wants it to be. He trusts it more than he did earlier in the season, but also throwing the curveball and the fastball location, that's been a big deal. He said there's still some innings where that slider is a little bit shaky, but it's every pitch, and every pitcher in here will say that one of their pitches won't be as good as one inning as the next. Gooby, I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. When you change a little bit on the speed of the slider, even if you don't make the quality pitch you want, you still get a hitter like that out in front of a breaking ball. And that's the key. Everything hard between a four-seam fastball, hard slider allows the hitters to time it. That's why changing speeds on his breaking pitches has been so good.
2 strikes on Robert. That slider bounced foul. Robert fouled off a couple of breaking pitches with 2 strikes in the first, and then Detmers tried to sneak a high fastball by.
Yeah, unless you're going to try to throw a fastball well off the plate, away and down, I think stick with the breaking ball going. Can't make that fastball inside unless you make sure it's well off the plate.
Tried to drop the curve, but it stayed high, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. There's the breaking ball. A good curve that time. And Robert offered at it, missed it, and Reid Detmers has his 4th strikeout.
Boy, that was a great adjustment from the curveball, the pitch before, to follow up with a very good one out of the strike zone there. One above the zone, this one below the zone. Same pitch, just better feel. Boy, he stayed on top of that one exceptionally well.
2 up, 2 down. Eloy Jimenez flied out to deep right his first time. There's a fastball that pops the bottom of the zone from Detmers. Last 3 starts for Reid, a total of just 2 runs allowed, 7 scoreless against the Dodgers here last week.
By the way, the interesting thing in that at bat against Robert, not one fastball.
Why
yes,
would you?
Yes.
I mean, really.
Yes.
This is a pretty punchless White Sox lineup outside of Robert. You know, Jimenez can swing the bat. He's a dangerous guy up there. This team has not scored much. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jimenez. Robert has a .955 slugging percentage on 4-seam fastballs this year. One ball, 2 strikes on Eloy Jimenez. There's a high fastball that Jimenez lays off. It's 2-2.
Now you have him set up for that, either your curveball too, especially when you have a fastball that plane.
Bouncing ball to the left side. It's Luis Rengifo. Has it, throws it to first, and retires Jimenez, ending a 1-2-3 inning for Detmers.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party. See the night's biggest moments. What? The best interviews.
We all love DJ Dan.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
Oh, my goodness! What a play!
Every game.
Go!
Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
Relive today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action, we've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
Mike Trout has a chance to make his 11th All-Star game. Most All-Star selections among active players. Miguel Cabrera, who's retiring after this year, has a dozen. Trout trying to get number 11. Clayton Kershaw should get his 10th this year. Justin Verlander's at 9. Here's Trout leading off the bottom of the 4th against Dylan Cease. The All-Star voting phase 2 has opened. And Mike Trout among a handful of American League outfielders that are available to be starters in the All-Star game in a couple of weeks in Seattle. So go vote for him. Angels.com/All-Star. You can vote for Mike Trout between now and Thursday morning to make sure he goes to the All-Star game.
Well, the All-Star game has the very best players, and you feel that Mike Trout has to be in there. Well, by the way, Dylan Cease has thrown him a lot of breaking balls. He's got him to strike out on a fastball after a number of sliders. This time patient on the slider for Trout.
Slider there. He went too far. Strike 2. You know, it's funny looking at Trout's numbers. There's been a lot of talk about Trout not having the typical Mike Trout season. Got an 850 OPS. He's still having a very good year. He's hit 17 home runs. He deserves to be an all-star. There's strike 3 call. That's foot
way
outside.
off the plate.
And now Trout having a word with Bill Miller. You never see this from Mike Trout. And it's a kind word, but it's a word nonetheless. And here comes Phil Nevin.
I mean, that's not even clear. He called 2 strikes on him the first at bat that weren't in the zone. I mean, that's well off the plate there. Well off the plate.
Phil Nevin taking it easy on Bill Miller. But this isn't close. It was never even a strike. It never started in the zone.
I mean, that's 2 baseballs off the outside corner.
If Trout has something to say about a call, you know it was the wrong one. He never says anything to the umpires. So there's a strikeout for CCS 5, one of them on Shohei in the first inning. And there's a strike again, a little bit off the plate. It's interesting to see Robert played in left center field for Shohei.
That's where lately, that's where a lot of the home runs have been going, between center to left center for Shohei.
And that bug that was in the booth here earlier, that June bug, was just in Shohei's face.
I think so. 10 home runs last 18 games.
2 balls and a strike. He's hit everything hard. His OPS 1371 in those games. Leading the majors in homers, leading the majors in RBIs, and leading tonight in swatting bugs in his face. 3 balls and a strike on Shohei. It's been a June boom for Ohtani. And as for Brandon Drury too, he's on deck.
So you may go fastball away against him.
It's a high fly ball to right, way back. Frazier's going to watch it fly. The spectacular Shohei has done it again. His 26th home run, and this game is all tied.
Wow, Shohei 113 miles per hour exit velocity. Trying to go backdoor with a slider. We mentioned that slider, if he makes some mistakes in the zone, it's got a chance of being crushed. And wow, was that crushed. Over 440 feet. Shohei Ohtani, number 26. Segoy.
26 homers leads baseball. 62 runs batted in. Does the same. And Shohei, the only man in the American League with more homers than Robert. So they had all these bugs in my face, and I just hit one 430 feet.
He figured it was a baseball that was drifting near him. He swatted that baseball a long, long way. That ball was crushed. Shohei, unreal, 446.
Brandon Drury held his swing. 2 balls, no strikes. Again for Cease, those middle inning problems standing out. Brandon Drury had a good cut. 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, that was supposed to be a backdoor slider. Dylan Cease, he knew he made a mistake. He gave a courtesy look just to see how far that went, I think. Boy, does he generate that power.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Good fastball from Dylan Cease. Shohei will be starting on the mound tomorrow night. He'll be the pitcher for game 2 of this series against Michael Kopech tomorrow. Should be a good pitching matchup, as it has been tonight. Drury strikes out on the slider. And Dylan Cease has his 6th strikeout.
You see that he's keeping that front shoulder in, and that slider just drifted on the inner half, and Shohei lifts that baseball long, long way.
You can't see Shohei.
He went John Cena there. You can't see me now.
Mike Moustakas swings and misses. Moustakas in his Angels debut tonight struck out his first time against Dylan Cease. Moustakas out of Chatsworth High School, where Dwight Evans went to school. A lot of celebrities went there too. Chatworth, Kirk Cameron, Candace Cameron. I could do it all night. Strikeout for Moustakas as Dylan Cease spans 3 in the inning, but he couldn't stop Shohei. Not the Bucks couldn't either. 26th home run of the year. Shohei Ohtani launches one. 446 feet to tie the game.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What play?
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss.
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network. Keep up with every team on MLB Network wherever you go. Just download the MLB app, click MLB Network, and sign in with your TV provider info. Then watch MLB Network all day, every day, your way.
Well, the starting pitchers have done well tonight, save for one solo homer on each side. Luis Robert hit one a long way. Shohei Ohtani hit one a longer way, and it's 1-1. And Vaughn fouls the first pitch back here in the top of the 5th.
Back-to-back batters for the White Sox that are extremely aggressive and pretty successful on the first pitch. On 344 with a couple home runs. Berger on deck is 370 with 7 home runs on the first pitch put in play.
Couple of guys who've been unlucky lately. As Vaughn gets a base hit there, batting average on balls in play have been very low for both Vaughn and Berger of late. But Andrew Vaughn has a leadoff base hit.
Let's take a look at the different speeds of the slider. Take a look at our play sense presented by Frontier. How effective a change in speeds on the slider has been during this really good stretch. That one at 87 miles an hour against Outman. This time goes off the plate at 85 miles an hour. Eventually you'll be able to get the swing and miss on an 89-mile-an-hour slider. So you went 87, 85, 89 on the very same pitch, but each one had a different break to it.
And Berger throws the bat and hits the screen above the Angels dugout and falls harmlessly on the steps, only about 3 feet from Erica.
Towards the end of the bat, loses control on that first pitch curveball.
That right, almost at Erica's lap.
Some serious distance on that throw.
Guys, the foul balls have been a little scarier. I'm not gonna lie. That one was a little bit bigger to track. The bat.
That was a foul bat.
Yeah.
Berger struck out his first time tonight against Reid Detmers. Harry Carey was a broadcaster for a lot of years with the Cubs. He also did the White Sox for about a decade, and he would have said, hey, the bat went further than the ball.
Yes, it did.
Berger tried to check his swing, and he did. First base umpire. He's hearing it from Phil Nevin. Roberto Ortiz.
Yeah, he definitely went on that one.
Now Now Berger hits one toward the left field corner, foul.
It's a good pitch, though, even though it feels like he was on him. He was out in front. That's a good pitch to get right back in the count.
By the way, we heard some vicious rumors before the game today that Phil Nevin got smoked on the hand during batting practice, but I don't see any bandage.
He's not slowing down at all.
He's swatting the air just fine. Three balls, 2 strikes on Berger. Well, if it's bad information, we'll blame White Sox TV. Gordon Beckham is the one who told us that.
Been an over-aggressive swing here, get a ground ball and an infielder.
It's Vaughn at first. He does not have much speed. Berger really doesn't either, so ground ball could result in a double play. It's 3-2 on Berger. And it's ball 4 as he lays off the high fastball. So a single and a walk. And the White Sox have 2 on, nobody out, though it does bring up the bottom of their order. Well, Clint Frazier will bat. We'll drive around with Hyundai.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty.
Frazier lined out to left field his first time. This guy was a big prospect at one point. 5th overall pick back in 2013, drafted by Cleveland. Traded to the Yankees when Cleveland got Andrew Miller for their World Series run in 2016. Whiffs on the curve, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, nobody in that infield anticipating, even with first and second, no outs at any time, a square around for a bunt. There's 8 sacrifice bunts this season for the White Sox, and never even a thought about that one.
Good pitch there, and Detmers gets ahead 0-2. Elvis Andrus, the number 8 batter on deck, then Zavala. Detmers will try to burst his way through this 5th inning. He had retired 10 straight until this inning began with a base hit by Vaughn, then the walk to Berger. It's 0-2 now on Clint Frazier. And that's in there, strike 3 called. Theis wanted an appeal on the check swing, but he didn't need one. He has Bill Miller back there, and there's one away here in the 5th.
And he was able to get close enough to that inside corner to call 3rd strike, not even on the swing. Again, the home plate umpire doesn't have to appeal. He definitely won on it anyhow. You don't have to look down at a corner umpire. If you feel that you saw that swing crossing the plate, Bill Miller said it, and it looks like they're asking him if it was the pitch or a swing, and Bill Miller shook his head as if it was the swing.
So 5 strikeouts. Now Elvis Andrus, the batter. He lined out his last time. He takes a first pitch curveball strike.
And 85 and 87, the 2 varying speeds on his slider to be able to get a strikeout against Frazier by Reid Detmers. Big strikeout there.
There's a fastball for strike 2. So Detmers pumping in strikes. Punched out Frazier. Now gets quickly ahead of the former Texas Ranger Elvis Andrus.
And this is the time, is it anyone on the right side of the infield, even Moniak and right, you have to be ready, because this is where he tries to go the other way.
Check swing, and he went around. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts as Detmers punches out Frazier and then Andrus.
Went 4-seam fastball. He's going inside. Again, that's the right pitch to do against Andrus, because he tries to go the other way all the time with 2 strikes, and he couldn't hold up on that high 4-seam fastball because it was on the inner half.
6 strikeouts now for Detmers, 2 in a row. He punched out Sebi Zavala back in the 3rd with all fastballs. Fastball there missing, and it's 1 ball, no strikes on Zavala, the number 9 batter. Detmers pitching out of the stretch for the first time tonight. Zavala hooks one foul. The only base runner before the 5th inning was Robert on a home run. Ohtani's home run accounting for the only Angel run to this point. 2 balls and a strike. It was all fastballs that struck out Zavala his first time. Then that last fastball he hooked away foul. You see Detmers going to the curve. See the White Sox offense really struggling, especially lately. Wave and a miss out in front of the curve.
Boy, a curveball on the inside part of the plate and down. He went backdoor curveball. Tough to really get a good swing at that because you feel it's going to be off the plate, but you're still up there thinking, okay, I got to try to protect it. Change of that speed that was very, very good for Reid. Remember, punched him out on a 4-seam fastball, then he backdoored a 75-mile-an-hour curveball.
What would you throw here?
I'm still thinking I'm going break a ball. You did get him with a fastball, but and in his mind now, he's thinking I'm gearing up for a fastball. So that slider or curve.
It's the slider that missed. Now it's ball 3. So the runners will get a head start. That's important here because these two don't run very well. Vaughn is very slow and Berger's not much faster. So a head start will help as the White Sox try to take the lead here in the 5th. 3-2 on Seby Zavala. And it's in there. Strike 3 called. A slider at the top of the zone. Detmers allowed 2 on with nobody out. He strikes out 3 in a row from there.
Grand Canyon University's RN to BSN online degree program makes earning your bachelor's in nursing possible. Balance online coursework with local in-person clinicals to prepare you to lead as a charge nurse in the time you have from wherever you are, leaving room for what matters. Achieve your goals with your personalized plan and team behind you. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Receive your special offer today. ButcherBox.
Phil Nevin and Bill Miller are having a conversation between innings.
I think he was just telling Reid Detmers really impressive there after those 2 base runners.
3 straight strikeouts from Detmers to get out of the top of the 5th inning as some trouble brewed. Now Taylor Ward against Dylan Cease to start the bottom of the 5th.
Well, we thought coming in this game with these 2 pitches with outstanding swing and miss sliders was going to be a battle. So far it has been. Just a couple of home runs resulting in both runs scored.
Solo shots on each side. Taylor Ward lifts one toward Robert, who has the White Sox homer. And there's one away here in the 5th.
Both with outstanding sliders. Most strikeouts on sliders this season. Spencer Strider at the top. Clayton Kershaw, we saw that earlier against the Angels. 59 with him, 55 for Dylan Cease. Detmers with 50. Jesus Luzardo, he's been outstanding for the Marlins.
Marlins pitching staff continues to hold that roster up as Miami sits 2nd in the National League East.
Who would have guessed that coming into the season?
Yeah, the Phillies stumbled early. They played better in the month of June. And the Mets are having all kinds of trouble. They have lost 16 of their last 21. They lost again tonight. Beaten by the Brewers 2-1. 2 balls and a strike on Matt Thaiss. Thaiss grounded out his first time. Cease has struck out 7. Detmers has struck out 7. Only the second straight start for Detmers. He's had to go toe-to-toe with the Cy Young candidate.
Yeah.
It's Kershaw last week. Thaiss slips one to left. Inside out swing results in a base hit. Experience Angels baseball at the Coca-Cola Friends and Family Fun Pack for only $44. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 soft drinks. For more information regarding the Coca-Cola Friends and Family Fun Pack, visit angels.com/funpack. The Fun Pack has arrived here at Angel Stadium. And we'll remain here for the next month, really.
We're California dreaming for quite a while.
Oh, really? We earned it.
Yeah, those back and forth flights. I mean, Phil Nevin has said that so often, just trying to stay above that 500 mark if possible those first few months of the season. For all those flights going back and forth, not many off days. So to see the team playing right now, the 5 games over 500, they're going to face some tough pitching, but they're still happy about being home and not have to travel.
July 25th, when the Angels go to Detroit. That's the next time this team will get on an airplane as a team. Well, Shohei's going to have to go to Seattle. Mike Trout probably will too. Estevez might. Players go various places for the All-Star break that aren't in the All-Star game, but the team itself will not travel on an airplane for a month, which is almost unheard of in a baseball season. Two balls, 1 strike on Luis Rengifo. Touches the inside corner. It's 2-2.
And a lot of times when you saw, especially early in the season, where you wanted to give the players days off because of the travel and how difficult it was. Now when you're home as much as they are, you might see the players get an opportunity to play a lot more.
Slow roller towards second. Only play is to first for Elvis Andrus, who retires Rengifo. But Thaiss advances 90 feet and gets into scoring position with David Fletcher coming up.
That's what you want. Fletcher this season alone been over 600 with runners in scoring position. His career over 333 with runners in scoring position.
For Cease, a guy who gets a lot of strikeouts. Here's a guy that's tough to strike out. Angels hoping for some contact that falls in. With Thaiss at second base and 2 outs in this tie game. Looks like a problem with PitchCom maybe. Well, they'll sort that out and we'll eat some Jack in the Box.
Yo, Jack, that a baked brownie in my munchie meal?
You know it, Snoop.
Say less.
Ah, Snoop.
Come on, Snoop.
Fletcher trying to hold his swing. He did. Which is a good thing, as Phil's probably getting raspy now in the Angels dugout. He's got a lot to say. And defensive ball club tonight. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire. Roberto Ortiz over at first.
Just looking at the outfield for the White Sox, they're all playing pretty deep, which plays into the swing for David Fletcher.
Roberts got a great arm in center. Frazier's got a decent arm in right field.
Benintendi with 41 outfield assists in his career in left field. He's got 2 this year. So there's some pretty good arms in the outfield for the White Sox, but they're playing pretty deep.
Fletcher hits it right back into our booth.
Whoa.
That was flying up here. Where did it go?
It's right down below your feet.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly under my foot.
Yeah, that's a pretty good mark on the wall.
I got it.
Yes. Wow.
That's our first foul ball in the booth this year.
A little mark on the wall, too.
We'll get Fletcher up here to sign his mark on the wall. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fletcher, it's a roller to the left side. Anderson backhands and gets it to first in time to retire Fletcher.
Should Viagra really cost $90? We don't think so. RexMD.com has FDA-approved generic Viagra at 90% off. Just fill out a brief survey. If appropriate, you can try generic Viagra for 90% off. Go to RexMD.com to get started right now.
Sure, you'll teach her to drive a car. Then use Greenlight and teach her to save up for her own car. Mowing lawns and getting paid. Navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
Here plays sent it by Arco. That last inning after first and second, no out. Big strike on a slider, fastball up against Andrews, get a swing and miss, and then finish off the inning with a slider upstairs. Back-to-back strikeouts, 3 in a row for Reid Detmers in this game so far. 3 with his four-seam fastball, 2 with his slider, 2 with his curveball. All those fastballs above the strike zone with his four-seam fastball. It's really set up his curveball and slider.
Both pitchers have had similar performances tonight, and both will face the top of their opponent's order in the 6th inning. It's Reid Detmers first. It's Andrew Benintendi bouncing the first pitch softly to second. Brandon Drury with an underhand to first. And there's 1 pitch, 1 out for Detmers here in the 6th.
We love to see that, especially Benintendi does swing a lot at the first pitch, gets a soft ground ball. 3rd time through here now for Reid Detmers. He's gotten better the last 3 starts, that 3rd time through.
Here's Tim Anderson 0 for 2. An all-star each of the last 2 years. Certainly won't be this season. I even question if he'll be with the White Sox at all about a month or so from now. His name will be kicked around in trade rumors. There's strike 2 to Anderson as we take a look at our Kia player profile. Angels pitchers trying to wipe hitters out with their secondary pitches. There's an example of it, a curve that is bounced softly to third. Rengifo stays with that hop, and it ends up being a foul ball.
Wow. Usually when it's got to go by the base before, it's a home plate umpire's call. But Rob Drake at third base called that one foul. See if that kicks foul. Yeah, it's going by the base. That's the right call. If it's in front of the base, it's a home plate umpire's call. And once it got by the bag, he could see. He's got a perfect view, Rob Drake, on that one.
Anderson inside outs, 1 foul. It's still no balls, 2 strikes. Why do you think the Angels throw more secondary pitches in 2-strike counts than other teams?
I think part of it is the fact is, you know, when you go through the data and read that, you get a lot more swing and misses or soft contact on a non-fastball.
It was a fastball that Anderson fouled back. And the Angels do that more than any other team, 62%.
I think when you look at numbers, and every time we look through, you know, beginning part of the game to determine what pitches a hitter's hit, you look at most times fastballs, much higher percentage.
Ground ball to third. Rengifo scoops that one up, takes his time, and fires a strike to Moustakas.
He got a lot on that throw. Even that one before was ruled foul, he got a lot on that throw.
Third time through the order. Still Detmers giving up more hits the third time through than the first two, but not the way that he was earlier on.
That's a huge improvement.
Luis Robert, the batter. This is really the one guy that strikes fear from the White Sox lineup. This has a lot of power, this man does. 22 home runs.
I always felt, Wayne, when you're facing a hitter this hot right now, especially on certain pitches, you just try to avoid anywhere near the strike zone. He's going to be more aggressive. He's in one of those hot streaks. He doesn't really want to walk, so he wants to swing the bat, so use that against him. Like that
is exactly right. 92-mile-an-hour slider. Two balls and a strike on Robert. Likely an all-star. Could be the only one for the White Sox. It's a bouncer foul, and it's 2-2.
Then we got him a swing and miss on a breaking ball, the second at bat after he homered on a 2-strike fastball. I still wouldn't mess around with a fastball here.
There's a curveball that struck out Robert in the fourth inning. It's 2-2. And a swing and a miss on the
like
high
I said,
heater.
throw a high fastball.
Well, that was higher than high, and Robert chased it. Strikeout number 8 for Reid Detmers.
MLB Tonight has all the bases covered with live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
Every night on MLB Network.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network.
See it. He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it.
I can't wait for this game to start. He took a home run away.
Live it.
That is as good as it gets.
The big plays.
The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you.
He's done it again.
With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win.
MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
Sixth inning, Shohei Ohtani due up in this inning. He homered, so has Luis Robert. That's the only scoring so far. Solo home runs by two players that have hit a lot of home runs this year. The two most prolific American League home run hitters have been Shohei Ohtani and Luis Robert.
That launch angle that Shohei hit, a 36-degree launch angle. He hit that one.
26 home runs for Ohtani, 22 for Robert. And 1 ball, 2 strikes on Moniak.
It's 6.7 hang time on that home run, too, for Shohei.
You'd have to call a fair catch if you were a punt returner under that. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mickey Moniak. Third time through the order for Cease. Moniak hits that one foul. Opponents have hit over 300 against Cease the third time through the order this year, so he's had his own trouble the third time through. He's not typically gone that deep into games. His longest outing this year has been 6 1/3 innings. Moniak waves and misses. It was a changeup.
Well, he really slowed down his arm action on it, too.
1 out. Here's Trout.
A couple of these strikes called that weren't necessarily in the strike zone. That's 93 off the plate. That's off the plate there, too. Trout not real happy. Then in the 4th inning, especially, that's way off the plate. So that's 3 pitches for a guy that has a great idea of the strike zone, called a strike.
Cease drops in a strike there, and it's 0-1 on Trout. Cease has 8 strikeouts. So does Detmers. They have gone toe-to-toe tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike on Trout. 17 home runs. Trout's on the leaderboard in the American League. Got a long way to catch this man, though. Shohei with 26 now. Check swing, and Trout laid off. 2 balls and a strike. Opponents have an 1139 OPS against Cease this year when they are ahead in the count. Trout just tips that fastball into the glove of Zavala. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You're just waiting for Trout to get a hold of one of these baseballs here tonight. So far, it's been a tough night for Trout.
He swings through another fastball as he strikes out for the 3rd time.
So back-to-back fastballs, 96 and 97. Kept that front shoulder in well. He hit the baseball and had some ride to it, a 4-seam fastball.
2 outs. Here's Shohei.
Yeah, there's the bug. That's the good luck bug flying by him again.
How come they're only flying by him? Maybe they want his autograph too.
You blame him?
No balls and a strike. Shohei hit one 446 feet his last time. Slugging percentage lifetime against the White Sox. Well, he's not quite Kareem Garcia. He's close. Aaron Judge and Babe Ruth, the highest slugging percentages all time against the White Sox. And Ramis Ramirez on that list doing his part in the Crosstown series.
So he threw that changeup to Moniak this inning. You wonder if he'll come back to a changeup now.
Whew. Shohei yelling out at Bill Hasselman to make sure he was alert as that ball was fouled off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
How many people want that foul baseball thrown in the stands?
Some fans chanting MVP. Yeah, they might be in the bag already, and it's not even July yet.
Ooh, mighty swing. He's hit some fastballs up and away a long way. That's why you see Luis Robert playing to hit the ball that way. That is a 98-mile-an-hour fastball above the zone. You still make good contact with it.
There's a breaking ball that's hit toward the left field corner pretty deep down the line. It's a foul ball. Hit that off the end of the bat. Still challenged the left field foul pole.
Kyle Freeland the other day when he hit a changeup out off the plate, and his reaction was, how did he hit that baseball out? That would have been one of those times too. If you're Dylan Cease, how would he hit that one out the other way?
I think you left out a word.
Possibly.
Swing and a miss. There was a good slider from Cease. He strikes out the side in the 6th.
Keep up with every team on MLB Network wherever you go. Just download the MLB app, click MLB Network, and sign in with your TV provider info. Then watch MLB Network all day, every day, your way. MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party. See the night's biggest moments, the best interviews.
We all love DJ Dan.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
See it.
He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it. I can't wait for this game to start.
He took a home run away.
Live it.
That is as good as it gets.
The big plays.
The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you.
With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win.
MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
Baseball and Valley Sports brought to you by Hyundai. It's your journey on every mile in a brand new Hyundai. By OC Healthcare Agency, build your healthiest self at angels.ocnavigator.org. And by your local Southern California Cadillac dealers. Dealing has been the word tonight because that's what Reid Detmers and Dylan Cease are doing. They are dealing through 6 innings. Cease has struck out 10. Detmers has fanned 8. Just 1 run allowed apiece, both on solo home runs. Very few hits otherwise. Now Eloy Jimenez leads off the 7th.
Both pretty efficient with their pitch counts also.
Cease at 92 pitches. Detmers at 84. Detmers will have to face 3 pretty good right-handed batters here. Jimenez, Vaughn, and Berger. And Detmers ahead. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good backdoor slider. He's able to throw his curveball backdoor and also his slider.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 9 for Detmers.
And he rides that 4-seam fastball. He's getting a number of strikeouts with his 4-seamer tonight, including Robert last at bat. Now here, Jimenez with a 4-seam fastball upstairs.
Andrew Vaughn has one of just the 2 hits for the White Sox. Singled into left field his last time. Takes ball 1. Not saying this to get you going or anything, but still something great about 2 starting pitchers going head to head and just dueling like this.
And in the anticipation that's a possibility, the same thing as last time out against Kershaw, and I thought he actually pitched a little better than Kershaw last time out.
It's really unique to this sport to see a starting pitcher on both sides just take over the game and kind of really become a man-to-man competition. Swing and a miss by Vaughn. As much as Detmers is trying to get out the White Sox hitters, well, he's trying to at least keep up with Dylan Cease and vice versa.
Yeah.
3 balls and a strike on Vaughn. Detmers has struck out 9, his career high 12, something he's done a couple of times, including once already this year. Ball 4 to Vaughn. There's a base runner, a 1-out walk. Second free pass issued by Detmers tonight.
So this becomes a really important pitch here now for Reid Detmers against Jake Berger. You mentioned those numbers on the first pitch. You want to get ahead, but you got to make sure you're careful on this one.
Here's Jacob Webb warming up in the Angels bullpen, or at least about to start. As Detmers has thrown 91 pitches and 6 in the 3rd. He went 7 his last start. Working against the Dodgers through 98 pitches. Continues a trend where Angels starting pitchers have been very good over the last couple of weeks. 1 to Berger.
5 strikeouts on his 4-seam fastball, tying a career high. And there's 2 reasons why Matt Thaiss is going out there to slow him down here, but also allow Jacob Webb to get warmed up.
And the whole infield will move toward the mound, and we hear from Kia.
The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Congratulations to LSU. They won the College World Series tonight. Paul Skeens, the most outstanding player. Tuck that name away, and Dylan Cruz as well for LSU. A couple of guys who could be early first-round picks in a few weeks. Here's Jake Berger. He was a first-round pick at one point. Had a nice mustache going recently, but he shaved it. I'm not sure why. 2 balls, no strikes on Berger. He was a first-round pick out of Missouri State in 2017, 11th overall.
So we're through that curveball just a bit.
And Matt Thaiss, a first-round pick himself, stopping that. 2 balls, no strikes on Berger. Frazier on deck. And there's a strike. And a backdoor slider.
He's trying to make sure he threw that for a strike and make sure it's on the outside part of the plate. Reid Detmers has had 5 double plays turned behind him this season. Would love to get number 6.
Bottom of the zone, a strike on the inside corner, so it's back to even. There's Frazier batting next. Struck out his last time. Berger struck out in his first at bat. Foul off to the right into a crowd doing the wave here at Angel Stadium.
96-mile-an-hour fastball, so still good velocity on his fastball. And above the zone.
96 miles an hour on his 96th pitch. We're all about symmetry here. It's 2-2 on Berger. And it's fouled again. Oh, good catch by a fan.
Of course, it's an Ohtani jersey making the play. It's not a shocker.
50-50, it's going to land in a Shohei jersey or a Trout jersey.
That slider a little bit up there. You got to make sure this one has to be your very best slider right here. Get a punch out.
Tapper at home plate, that's foul. And Berger stays alive on the curveball. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. It also runs the pitch count for Detmers up near 100. He's been outstanding again. He's only allowed 3 runs over his last 4 starts, including tonight. Webb is getting ready in the Angels bullpen for whenever Phil Nevin makes that decision. On 2-2, Berger takes ball 3.
That's a pretty good take because he's been upstairs with his slider and fastball, and he's going after it, but that curveball was a little bit off the plate, and he was able to take it. Don't think he's going here.
It's the 100th pitch tonight from Reid Detmers. It's fouled straight back just under our booth. Don't get any all season. Now we've had one and almost another.
Yes.
Another nice job tonight from Detmers, trying to finish it up here in the 7th inning. It's a tie game. Vaughn, almost nothing lead at first. 3-2 to Berger. Fouled back again.
Well, he was on that fastball, even though it was upstairs.
What does that make you think as a pitcher about what to do next?
I still think, what is your number 1 pitch? Slider. He has left a couple of them upstairs. You just got to stay on top of the baseball just a little better here. If he does that, he's going to get a swing and miss on it. He's just got to make sure he stays on top of it.
Another 3-2 pitch to Berger. Swing and a miss. The 10th strikeout for Reid Detmers.
Tell you what, he's been fantastic so far here tonight. Going that next level. He's been locked up against some really good opponents on the other side of the mound. Big punch out. After a long at bat, you always feel it has a tendency to favor the hitter when you see so many pitches. I don't want to four-seam. That's now a career high as far as strikeouts with his four-seam fastball with 6.
Here's Clint Frazier. There's strike 1 on the inside corner. Detmers has fanned 10. It's his 2nd double-digit strikeout game this year. Punched out 12, tying his career high when he did that against Minnesota May 19. Frazier struck out his last time. It's a ground ball foul, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. As Reid Detmers has turned the corner here in the month of June, trying to put an exclamation point on this outing tonight. Frazier with a 1-hopper to second. Brandon Drury gloves it. Easy toss to first. Reid Detmers terrific again. His 4th straight start, giving just 1 run or none. He strikes out 10 in 7 innings.
game coverage. All day, every day, your way. On MLB Network. The next generation of baseball has arrived.
And I am here for it.
Keep an eye on the new faces of baseball on Off Base, the modern baseball show for the modern baseball fan.
It's all about things you haven't seen before.
Only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action, we've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
That's great work from Reid Detmers tonight. He gets congratulated by Matt Wise, his pitching coach.
I mean, this is an outstanding effort. Knowing you're going to be facing a tough opponent on the other side, he comes in with 10 punch-outs in 7 innings tonight. And his fastball was electric with 6 punch-outs. Just looking for some run support here. He's pitched very well. When you look at his record, you go, not where he wants to be, but he's definitely giving the team a chance to win a lot of these games.
There's always one pitcher, it seems like, that gets the least amount of run support. That's been Detmers this year for the Angels. Despite this team scoring a lot of runs this season, the Angels lead the American League in scoring in the month of June. But they haven't scored for Detmers. Just 1 run tonight in 6 innings against Dylan Cease. There has been game as well. Cease has struck out 10. One ball, 2 strikes on Brandon Drury. Not something you see all the time, that each starting pitcher in a game ends up with 10 strikeouts. That's where we are tonight.
Boy, you talk about setting a high target and then throwing a high fastball. Brandon Drury does have some good power to right center.
Bouncing ball left side. Anderson boots it. Brandon Drury's on to start the bottom of the 7th.
That should end up being an infield hit. He'll have to try to plant that outfield grass, although he does have an outstanding throwing arm.
It would have been maybe 50-50 if Anderson fields that cleanly to get Drury at first, but he couldn't field it cleanly. Drury's on. And here's Mike Moustakas trying to make contact as an Angel for the first time. Ball 1 from Cease. The White Sox pitching staff has been pretty good over the last several weeks. They have the lowest ERA in baseball dating back to May 13th. That includes a bullpen with a lot of hard throwers, including Joe Kelly, who's warming up.
That's the one thing he always felt with this White Sox team, even though their offense has been inconsistent, their pitching staff, when they're on a roll, they're tough to hit.
The wins haven't followed, though, because the offense hasn't done much. So the White Sox still sit 11 games under 500. Though in the AL Central, they're still just 6 back. Moustakas has his first hit as an Angel. Drury goes to second, 2 on, nobody out.
Put that in the Moose call already for Moustakas. Gets that breaking ball. He's hit breaking balls exceptionally well this season. gets one, lines it to center field. Just like that, some action. Looks like that might be it for Cease.
Dylan Cease unable to do what Reid Detmers did. Detmers got through 7. Cease gets pulled with 2 on, nobody out.
Got something to say about the game?
I want to hear that.
Don't just talk about it.
Get caught up so we can talk about it on the show.
Intentional talk about it.
I think this is when opportunity arises.
Join the conversation with Intentional Talk on MLB Network.
We're watching.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
Oh, my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action, we've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
Angels baseball and Valley Sports brought to you by Spectrum One. Internet advanced Wi-Fi and mobile for just $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com. By Easton and Easton, official personal injury partners of Angels baseball. By the help of the SoCal Honda dealers, follow @Helpful Honda, and they can help you too. And by California Community Colleges. Enroll today at iCanGoToCollege.com. Dylan Cease getting high fives. A very good performance from Cease tonight. 10 strikeouts, no walks. And he leads with a couple of men on base. The go-ahead runs are on as Joe Kelly, born in Anaheim, at the Corona High School, then UC Riverside. He takes the mound here for the White Sox.
He has a power fastball with some run action to it. He's 95-99. Will also throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Joe Kelly's been around, 35 years old, as a starter early in his career before moving to the bullpen with the Red Sox. He's not been very good with the White Sox. ERA above 5 dating back to last year when he joined them. He still can chuck it. 97 to get a strike on Taylor Ward.
Occasionally he'll get a little bit wild, and especially on the break ball, he can bounce it. So you got to be ready with your secondary leads if you're on base against them. He's got a great changeup now. He's not afraid to throw it. You see that to a right-handed batter and left-handed batters.
Ball 2 strikes on Taylor Ward. Lined out to center field his last time. This is as good a chance as the Angels have had tonight to take the lead for the first time. White Sox scored in the first on a Robert homer. Shohei answered a solo shot in the fourth. This is an opportunity for the Halos to go in front. Two balls, 2 strikes. Drury with an infield hit. Mike Moustakas ripped his first hit with the ball club. Swing and a miss. Ward goes up out of the zone to chase. It could have been ball 3. Instead, it's strike 3 in the first out.
Well, he had their fastball upstairs. He ran another fastball above the strike zone. He gets a big strikeout there.
Here's Matt Thaiss.
Little flare base hit for last at bat for Thaiss. Pretty quick on fastballs. Have to deal with a hard fastball and a changeup here, I think.
Ball one to Thaiss on the changeup. Lefties have had a lot better success against Kelly this year than right-handers. Broken back, ground ball up the middle, fielded by Andrews. Glove flip to second. Anderson to first for a double play. Expertly turned by the White Sox middle infield to get out of the inning.
Keep up with every team on MLB Network wherever you go. Just download the MLB app, click MLB Network, and sign in with your TV provider info. Then watch MLB Network all day, every day, your way. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
Oh, my goodness! What a play!
Every game.
Gone!
Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
Tonight's Toyota Player of the Game, Reid Detmers, that fastball today, 10 strikeouts, 6 on his four-seam fastball, a career high. Had that working above the strike zone throughout the game after showing the breaking ball was a curveball and slider, but that last one there, 96-mile-an-hour fastball against Berger, who is a very good fastball hitter. Outstanding job, our Toyota Player of the Game, Reid Detmers.
The new pitcher, Jacob Webb, enters for the Angels here in the 8th inning. Elvis Andrus was due up, but he's being taken out for a pinch hitter. Gavin Sheets comes off the bench for Chicago. Not only Sheets, that was called a ball. And Bill Miller's been calling strikes all over the place all night. That was right down the middle. Good pitch there, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Yasmani Grandal is also in the on-deck circle, so it looks like Pedro Grifol is emptying his bench. Sheets for Elvis Andrus here. Broken bat roller, Renifo in the right spot as he throws out Sheets. The final week of the 2023 Scott's MLB All-Star Ballot is here. Decide if Mike Trout is in the starting lineup this summer by scanning the QR code on the screen or vote daily at MLB.com/vote. Here is Grandal.
A really, really good fastball hitter himself.
And the first pitch, breaking ball, answers that. Grandal took a foul ball off the jaw yesterday and came out of the game. Still has power. Waves through the changeup, and it's 0-2.
That's a good pitch against him. He's geared up for anything hard. 95-plus-mile-an-hour fastballs he's pretty good on. It's a tough time staying back on a changeup.
fell off, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Grandal. The last year of Grandal's long contract with the White Sox. Signed a 4-year deal worth $73 million. Late on that fastball as he fouls it off. Had 1 good year for the Sox. 2021, even though he was hurt for some of that year, and that's really been it. He's not produced the way that he did as a Dodger or the 1 year he was in Milwaukee. It just missed. Grandal batting for Zavala. Swings and misses, strike 3.
Good adjustment on that changeup. Went changeup just a little bit off the plate. This one started in the inside corner and drifted down middle. Just good arm action on there. I think it all just enough that he showed on the 1 fastball that he was late on. He was able to get that swing and miss on his changeup. See how far out in front Grandal was on it.
Brings up Benintendi back to the top of the White Sox order. And there's a strike from Webb. Interesting that Pedro Grifol, it's a tie game, it's fairly late, but he really sacrificed defense for offense there. Now Grandal has to catch. No balls, 2 strikes on Benintendi. He's 0 for 3. Normally a guy who makes a lot of contact. He's tough to strike out. Swing and a miss. Jacob Webb blows a fastball by Benintendi. A 1-2-3, top of the 8th.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party. See the night's biggest moments, the best interviews.
We all love DJ Dan.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
See it. He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it. I can't wait for this game to start.
He took a home run away.
Leave it.
That is as good as it gets.
The big plays. The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you.
With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win.
MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
It's 1-1 at Angel Stadium entering the bottom of the 8th. Luis Robert teed off on Reid Detmers for the only White Sox run, a first-inning homer. Gave Chicago the lead. Then in the bottom of the 4th, Shohei Ohtani into orbit. 446 feet to tie the game. 1-1, that's been it, the only offense. 2 ferocious swings, one from Robert, his 22nd home run, the other from Shohei, his 26th. Angels Live postgame coming up next, brought to you by OC Navigator. They'll break down the great starting pitching performances and how this game reaches the end as Reynaldo Lopez Got off to a really slow start to the year, but he's been better lately. He takes over on the mound for the White Sox.
And he also has one of those power fastballs. There's a lot of power arms out of the bullpen for the White Sox. 93 to 100 range. He'll also throw his, a slider, a curveball, and changeup.
New right fielder among a few defensive changes for the White Sox as Sheets goes into play right. And he followed a fly ball to left, and Benintendi puts it away. Zach Remillard is now the second baseman. And Grandal stays in behind the plate. There's Remillard. He'll go into Frazier's spot in the White Sox lineup. Strike one to Fletcher. We talked about the White Sox relievers. They all throw hard. 98 from Ronaldo Lopez.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of clubs calling the White Sox if they continue to struggle. As far as Joe Kelly is definitely going to be picked up by somebody, I would think, because he still has a great arm.
There's definitely going to be some movement if the White Sox decide to sell. A lot of it will come from their pitching staff. And Lucas Giolito, who we'll see later in this series, is a free agent after this year. Maybe there's still some juice left for Lance Lynn, although he has struggled at times, certainly this season. And Giolito will almost certainly be gone by the trade deadline. And then in the bullpen, all these arms. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Fletcher. Angels trying to find some offense late to start this series with a victory. Somebody's going to have to score here to get through the finish line. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Fletcher.
Keep an eye on that guy on deck. Mickey Moniak has been so good in those big moments. It's one of those big moments right here.
High bouncer. Berger will have to hurry. And he gets it to first in time to retire Fletcher by a step. Berger almost had that ball snow cone out of his glove. He still found a grip and got it to first base.
It's a big out, especially with Moniak coming up now. Mickey Moniak this season, late and close, hitting .533, including 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and a triple. Tie games, .333. Right guy up here.
Goes after the first pitch. It's a fly ball to left center field. Angling back, Benintendi's there, and Moniak a fly out to send this game tied into the 9th.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
Sure, you'll teach her how to drive a car. Then use Greenlight to power her independence with crash detection with 911 dispatch, family location sharing, and emergency SOS alerts. Invest in your best investment with Greenlight.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
If sports fans built a streaming service.
What's going on?
I think we found a way to stop fans from destroying their TVs when their teams lose.
How's it work?
Hey, Charlie. Philly lost.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put you on hold.
Nissan, explore great deals at the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event. Shop NissanUSA.com. By Jack in the Box, introducing Snoop's Munchie Meal. That's right, available for a limited time only at Jack in the Box, and by Pacifico, a rich golden lager brewed for those who follow their own path. Pacifico, live life, anchors up. Cabuto on Shohei after his 26th home run, the only Angels run tonight. Now Carlos Estevez will try to keep this game tied.
He's throwing the ball exceptionally well. His fastball has been consistent, 97, 98. Good changeup, slider, solid also.
It'll be Anderson, Robert, and Jimenez due up here in the 9th inning. The White Sox have only had 2 hits. One, the Robert homer, the other a base hit by Andrew Vaughn in the 5th inning. Reid Detmers pitched out of some trouble in the 5th by striking out 3 straight hitters. He fanned 10 tonight. So did Dylan Cease. There's a strike from Estevez. Last time the Angels were involved in a game where both starters had 10 strikeouts nearly a year ago. July 13th last season, Christian Javier and Shohei Ohtani. Anderson lines it right to Brandon Drury. 1 away here in the top of the 9th.
Always good to keep that good speed off the bases. And Tim Anderson, even though maybe a struggle with the power, still 8 stolen bases in 9 attempts.
The Angels have Estevez on the mound here in this tie game. Hunter Renfroe has gone in to play right field. Taylor Ward still in left field. Not sure if something is wrong with Moniak. That spot in the order is not coming up anytime soon. Moniak made the last out. Robert loops one toward right. That's a base hit. And good speed on the bases for the White Sox with a 1-out single. Robert can fly. And he's on in front of Eloy Jimenez.
Yeah, Matt Thaiss has thrown out 17% of base stealers inside out on the fastball. Pretty good pitch. That's how strong Robert is to be able to punch out in the right center. Not hit exactly on the barrel, but placed perfectly.
Jimenez, it's a 1-hopper to second. Drury shovels it to Fletcher. Over to first, double play. Carlos Estevez gets out of the top of the 9th with a 4-6-3 twin killing. We go to the bottom of the 9th, 1 to win. Mike Trout leads off. Shohei right behind him.
If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball Show of Record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Oh, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake. This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight. Every night on MLB Network.
Got something to say about the game?
I want to hear that.
Don't just talk about it.
Get caught up so we can talk about it on the show.
Intentional talk about it.
I think this is when opportunity arises.
Join the conversation with Intentional Talk on MLB Network.
We're watching. We're watching.
First, the first 25,000 fans will receive a Trout Ohtani City Connect bobblehead, courtesy of Yakult Probiotic Drink. Before the Halos take on the Diamondbacks at 7 p.m., visit angels.com/promotions. Ronaldo Lopez goes out for his 2nd inning of work. And it'll be work.
Yes.
Trout, Ohtani, and Drury are due up.
And with a great defensive play like that to finish off the inning, you have the right guy coming to the dish right now for the Angels, and Mike Trout.
He has crushed Ronaldo Lopez in his career, 5 for 9 with a home run. There's ball one. Trout has 3 career walk-off home runs, but he has not had one in about 8 years. July of 2015, the last time he hit one off Koji Uehara in a tie game. Thought about it there, but he was late and fouled it off.
And go back to a Hyundai key for the game today. Lay low, get that fastball down, and Trout's so good on that lower third of the strike zone to try to walk it off right here.
The Angels have only had 1 walk-off win this season. It was on a wild pitch. So they've not had a walk-off hit yet this year, let alone a walk-off home run. The White Sox have had a ton of walk-off wins. 3 balls, 1 strike on Trout. Remember, he's a great base runner with very good speed. There's a liner down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. It is a foul ball.
Just a tad late on that fastball there. He got that pitch down.
Now it's a full count. 3-2 on Trout. A good cut, fouled it back. Trout has struck out all 3 of his times up tonight, all against Dylan Cease, who fanned 10. So did Detmers. No decisions for both. This game in the bullpen's hands. And the Angels, with all their big bats due up here in the bottom of the 9th, including Trout leading off. It's 3-2. And there's ball 4. The potential winning run is on to start the inning.
And Grandal is allowed behind the plate, 59 stolen bases and 9 caught stealing, but Shohei at the dish now.
The only Angels run tonight. Pedro Grifol is headed to the mound. Looks like Aaron Bummer is throwing in the White Sox bullpen. That's it for Lopez. New pitcher coming in to face Shohei.
This is Mookie Betts. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Mookie Betts plays hard, so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network. The next generation of baseball has arrived.
And I am here for it.
Keep an eye on the new faces of baseball on Off Base, the modern baseball show for the modern baseball fan.
It's all about things you haven't seen before.
Only on MLB Network. If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball's show of record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Oh, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players.
It's going a long way. Shohei with his second today. A rocket. Shohei Ohtani, who hit that long home run earlier this year against the White Sox. He's hit 4 home runs against them this season, including one tonight off of Dylan Cease. Now he will bat against new pitcher for the White Sox, Aaron Bummer.
Another power arm out of the bullpen, 92, 96 cutters, slider, changeup. Shohei Ohtani against left-handed pitching, 7 home runs, slugging .595 against lefties. Throws a lot of first pitch cutters and sliders. Gets that cutter up, out over the plate. Could be some damage done.
Well, he's never had a hit against Aaron Bummer. He's 0 for 8. He's also never had a walk-off home run in his major league career. Can change all of that right here with one swing against Bummer. The pitch got up and in on him, and he fouled it off. Trout has a lot of speed. The White Sox have given up 80 stolen bases this year.
More difficult against a lefty though pitcher here now.
Still have Grandal behind the plate. He's had a hard time keeping pitches around home plate. Big gap in right center. Ball 1 to Ohtani, although you never really can take a gap at face value with Robert out there. He goes gap to gap so well. He closes fast.
Boy, Bummer has allowed 6 stolen bases in 6 attempts, so it is a possibility if Trout can read him well. Although Shohei can drive him in from here.
And Bummer lobs one over. Trout has not run a lot. Just 1 steal and 1 try this year, but this could be a time to do it. Maybe after Shohei, if Shohei doesn't win the game outright. Brandon Drury would follow. The ball and a strike on Shohei Ohtani. Now 2-1. Watch the game, people.
Yes.
We've got our own cameraman here.
Yes. 2-1 counts. Shohei should see a fastball here from Bummer.
It's off the plate. Ball 3. Quite a predicament. Aaron Bummer's in here. 3-1 on Shohei Ohtani, but the winning run's already on base. There's nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th. On 3-1, Ohtani takes strike 2. That was right in there. You start Trout on 3-2?
No. Surprised Shohei took that fastball there. Maybe he's trying to bring him in again.
It's ball 4. Bummer walks Shohei. And now back-to-back walks begin the bottom of the 9th. The winning run advances to second, and Brandon Drury will be the batter.
It's interesting watching Mike Trout there after Shohei took that pitch. He clapped and said, good take. You can tell because that's a tough pitch after dealing with fastballs. A couple members of Team USA right there.
Here's Brandon Drury. Has a base hit tonight. Has had a lot of hits of late. Drury has been one of the better Angel batters in the month of June. And he takes a strike from Bummer. Drury couldn't stop his swing, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. Angels had 2 on, nobody out in the 7th and didn't score. Same for the White Sox in the 5th inning. Runners going. It gets away from Grandal. Trout dives into third. He didn't realize the ball had gotten away. But the runners advance on a double steal, and now second and third, nobody out.
I love seeing that. Aggressive. He didn't bury your look back to second, and Trout on the move. Now the infield in. No chance, even if he's able to, it's close to the strike zone. Brandon Drury, 295 with runners in scoring position this season, with the infield in and the outfield playing shallow.
Second stolen base for Trout, number 11 for Shohei, who trails him to second base. Drury with a chance to win it on 1 and 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So 1 out. Here's Mike Moustakas in his Angels debut. Chatsworth High School. Los Angeles kid, he's back home. And here comes Ethan Katz, the White Sox pitching coach, to discuss what to do. That's lefty-lefty here. Taylor Ward on deck, a right-hander. Take you back to May 5th, the only time the Angels have had a walk-off this season. A wild pitch to score Zach Neto.
And you know that Bummer's going to be throwing quite a few breaking balls here to Moustakas, so you've got to be ready if you're Trout. What a moment this is for Mike Moustakas. His debut as an Angel, already a base hit, a chance to walk it off.
Really can't stress it enough. The problems Grandal has had behind the plate. He has allowed 19 passed balls or wild pitches this season. 36 a year ago. That would work, so would a base hit. It's Moustakas who singled his last time, trying to be the hero in his Angels debut. Takes a strike from Bummer. I told you Moustakas was a villain against the Angels in 2014. Everybody loves a redemption story. Now he's in halo red. It gets away from Grandal. Here comes Trout, and the Angels win it. Say goodnight to the White Sox on a wild pitch.
Speed for Trout, stolen base, scores on the wild pitch. Speed never goes in slumps. And Speed wins again, his second walk-off on a wild pitch this year. Where's the wild thing?
Well, Carlos Estevez, he was the winning pitcher.
Yes.
A great read by Trout.
Yes, it was. Just a great all-around baseball player. He reads his secondary lead. As soon as he sees that ball down, he's flying home and scores the winning run.
Well, he almost created that run by himself.
Yeah, great walk. And then stolen base with Shohei, and then scores on a wild pitch. It didn't even get all the way back to the backstop. I feel the need for speed.
And the Angels get a victory. They beat the White Sox 2-1. Mike Trout did it all in the bottom of the ninth, and he's standing by now with Erica Weston.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Mike, a walk-off win, your first since the early part of May. What were you looking for to be able to get in and score that run?
Oof. Get on base. You know, I was grinding a couple of bats, but just to get on base and make things happen.
You still out of breath? You were running out there at the end.
Yeah, a little baby powder in my face, everything. So it's good, though. We won.
Cease was very good, as was Reid. Were you guys just hoping for an opportunity once he got out of the game and you were in the Chicago bullpen?
Yeah, you know, it was a pitching battle, and came out on top. That's all we can ask for.
Reid Detmers has been so good his last 4 games out, future ace of this ball club. What do you think of him tonight?
Excellent. You know, Reid comes in every day, works hard, tries to improve every single day, every outing. It's fun to play behind him.
Nice job tonight. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Mike Trout needed a moment to catch his breath. He created the winning run all by himself. A leadoff walk, a stolen base. He dives across home plate on a walk-off wild pitch. The Angels beat the White Sox 2-1. For Marco Bazan, Erica Weston, our entire crew, I'm Wayne Randazzo. We say goodnight from Angel Stadium. Stay tuned. Angels Live postgame is next. Brought to you by OC Navigator. The Halos take game 1 from the White Sox.